Good morning. Today is Friday, June 12th, Erev Shabbos, Parshat Behaalotcha. I want to talk to you about good police, not to weigh in on who is a good policeman, who's not here to tell us whether we should defund the police in a radical form of sort of breaking apart police departments or dividing their work that they should be doing. That's all important conversations, but not one that I have much to add to. But sort of an adjacent version of that conversation emerges interestingly from the Parsha. And I think it reflects a little bit about just generally about what types of people are our leaders and what we probably would seek anyone who's in certain types of roles to yet be. Moshe in the Parsha has had it up to here. You can't take it anymore. The people are complaining, and they're complaining about the manna now and he just finally says to God, why are you causing evil? Lama harayotza la'avdecha? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you making me carry these people like a nursemaid carries the suckling child? Enough. I don't want this anymore. And that's, kill me. Right? So pretty much he wishes that he were not alive anymore. That's how he completes that breakdown on his part. If this is what you're doing to me, God, then just kill me now. So God responds that he's going to give him 70 elders. We're familiar with that idea that God gives him 70 elders. But this is the criteria that he tells Moshe to look for, and listen carefully. God said to Moshe, gather for me 70 men from the elders of Israel. So far, so good. You know of them, that they are the elders of the people. This Shotrav. And it's police. It's police force, the enforcers. And you should take them to you to the tent of meeting, and they should gather before you, and they'll become the Zikanim. So what is the reference? What is God asking for them to be? You know of them, Moshe, that they are the Shotrim of the Jewish people. Rashi. Otan she'ata makir shenitmanu alehem shotrim b'mitzrayim b'avodat farach. The people that you know who were appointed upon them in Egypt to do the backbreaking, overseeing the backbreaking work. So that's okay. So you could have gone right. We want the law and order folks. We want the enforcers. They're the ones who are going to be the elders of Israel, the people that have who helped press and force the things that the policies in this case of Egypt, right, upon the Jews. So that's why pick them, but that's not where Rashi goes. These people who were appointed to play that role, they had compassion on their fellow brothers, umukim al yadam, and they took the beatings because of them. That the Egyptian taskmasters ended up beating the police of Israel. Those are the people, says Rashi, explaining the pasuk. Those are the ones who ultimately you should appoint to a place of stature, because in the same way that they felt the pain of the Jewish people, their brethren. So you want to ask, so on the one hand, this is really a discussion about who should be leaders of Israel, but it also reflects on something else that's quite important about what are stellar people who are policing, and that they're people who ultimately are feeling themselves simpatico, that they're connected to the people whom they are policing, after all, right? It's not the other. It's not the ones who they have to just get in line with whatever the rules are. Ultimately, they see their role as connected and intertwined, and the suffering of the people is their suffering. That then they themselves, subject themselves to difficulties just to be there to protect the others. That is the loftier view of what it means to play the role of the shoter. Now, again, you can put this and plug this back into whatever side of this equation you have, and whether it plugs into those officers who last week crossed over and marched with people, not just as a shtick or as a maneuver, but a statement and affirming that we are with you. We're not the enemy. You're not our enemy. That's probably the best place to plug this in. Those are the models of people that we should be looking for to play these types of roles. And I think there are a lot of, the majority of the people in law enforcement of this kind. We should indeed applaud them, even as we hope that those who don't fit that bill are no longer in law enforcement. Let them do something else, because ultimately, it's not the enemy. It's about our world and our society and the people around us who we care for, even if they need to be policed at certain points, to keep the mental space that we're here to try to make the world good and this place good, and to connect to one another. Let that be a good lesson for us to consider over the Shabbos. So how do we, who are not shotrim, how do we place ourselves on the spectrum of connectivity, and ask ourselves, if we had been in that position, what we would have done? That's a hard question to answer, but hopefully food for thought for the Shabbos.